Wouldn't it be nice to go to the gym for like 4 to 8 hours? You can do as much climbing as you want. You could take an hour-long break if you wanted and then go back to it. Okay, let's be more realistic. What should you be doing to maximize your climbing session and get as much gains as possible in just 60 minutes? Today, we're gonna go through everything that you should be doing before you start climbing, while you're climbing, shortly after, and I'm also going to share you some tips that I think are going to be really helpful for maximizing your time and making it so you can get as much gains as possible. Now, first, we're going to talk about something that is crucial to making sure that you can get the most out of your climbing session. It's going to help you climb harder, it's going to prevent injuries, and it's going to be something that you're going to cringe as soon as I say it, warm up. It's going to prevent injuries. What is the point of climbing for 60 minutes if you're just going to injure yourself? Do it, we agree? Okay, it's a 10-minute warm up. The first thing I like to do, as you can see here, it looks really simple, but actually as you continue to do these for about 5 times on each arm, you'll notice any kind of kinks or stubbornness in your shoulders turns into a buttery joint. Yes, I just said that my shoulders turned buttery. I'm just saying you should probably try this warm-up. We're gonna do something similar with the hips as well. This really indicates my limitations when it comes to hip flexibility. So this may look a little bit more flexible when you do it, but it is a really good workout to get going on your hips to make them smooth and mobile as well. Now, the next part of the warm-up is regarding your hands. We're gonna get your joints ready to go. We're gonna get your forearms ready to go. We're also going to start practicing some techniques while you're warming up. Does that not seem like the most useful warm-up routine ever? Something that you benefit technique-wise while also warming up? This is actually a warm-up that Alex Johnson recommended. I was at an event that she was at recently, and she's like, I do it every time I warm up. It's fantastic. Since then, I've been doing it for my warm-up. It is fantastic, and I would highly recommend it. It is traversing. Now, I actually tried traversing on a normal climbing wall, but it turned out that most of those holds were either slopers or really bad crimps, which is not good for a warm-up. So I ended up going to the kids section, and most gyms have some sort of gym area that is just for kids. There's tons of holds everywhere. They're usually pretty big, and they are perfect for traversing. So when you are traversing, you're warming up your hands, put some weight in them, but you're also going to be practicing your drop knees and your flagging. So as you can see here, I was able to stretch really far, really figure out how far my body can get my hips in, do some flagging, all those kind of things. This is the perfect time to focus on your technique while also warming up your hands, which is just a double whammy right there. Once I started feeling warm and nimble on my hands, that's when I moved on to this next part of climbing session. And this is probably the most important part of climbing session and takes up the bulk of it. This is what's going to give you the most gains. Drum roll, please. When you are climbing, you need 3 things, right? Strength, technique, and endurance. If you've been following my channel very long, you know that I freaking love drills. And there are drills for all 3 of these things. There are tons of drills, in fact. So you need to find a drill that fits with your regimen. What do you struggle with? Do you feel weak? Do you need to do strength gains? You could go lift weights, or you could do climbing drills, on the wall drills for gaining strength, which I created a video for that you should definitely watch. There's also drills for technique, and there are drills for endurance. I'm going to go through my 3 favorite drills that cover these 3 things just to get you started and figuring out what you need to do. Starting with strength, my 2 favorite drills is toe taps and hand taps. Now with this drill, it's really core intensive, it's lower back intensive, and it improves your grip strength as well. This is something that's going to benefit every single climber. And what you're going to do is, before you move your hands, you're going to tap your toe to that handhold, and then you're able to move your hand to the next one. So it's kind of like your foot is giving permission to that hand to move. So before you move your hand, touch your toe to it, then move on. And this is really good for your core. It's really good for your lower back, and it's freaking good on your grip because you have to hold on longer. Even strong climbers have found that this can be a very challenging drill. The steeper the overhang, the much harder this drill is. So if you're feeling like the slab is too easy, then go a little bit more, maybe doing a roof type climbing. Vice versa of this one is hand tap. This is where you're going to, before you move your feet, you're going to tap your hand to your foot. So I actually tried this on the same route that I did toe taps, and it was super challenging. So I had to redo this drill for this video on a slab, much easier. So keep that in mind. If this is your first time doing the drill or you're exhausted, maybe consider doing it on a slab instead. So for this drill, you are going to climb like normal, except before you move your foot, you're gonna tap your hand to your toe. Sometimes you're gonna be so stretched out that you can't reach your toe. So you have to climb back down, touch your toe, climb back up, and then make the foot movement that you're going to prior. So just keep that in mind as you're climbing. The more stretched out you are, the more work you have to do, which could be a good thing since you are trying to build strength. This next section is really important. So actually you need to pull out a pen and paper right here. Yeah, you definitely need to pull out a pen and paper. Are you ready? You need to write this down. Okay, my favorite drill right now for technique. And this is hands down, has been my favorite for a while now. It is hover hands. Now, when I first learned this drill, I actually thought it was just a strength drill, a core tension drill. And yes, it is a core tension drill, but more than that, it is a body position technique drill. You find a route, it's a couple grades lower than what you typically climb, and before grouping onto each hold, you're just gonna hover your hand there for 3 to 5 seconds. Now, to be able to hover your hand there for 3 to 5 seconds, you're gonna have to do drop knees, flagging. You're gonna have to do some serious body positioning to be able to hold that position, which is why this drill is my very favorite right now for technique, and I super enjoy this drill, so I think you guys will benefit from it a lot. Before I get into this next drill that's all about endurance, and it is a really good drill, and I think you're going to not only benefit from how much you'll get gains from it, you're also going to enjoy it. So definitely, I will get to that in just a moment. Afterwards though, I will be sharing some things that you do after these drills that will really make it so you can recover faster and so you can climb and do these 60-minute sessions almost every single day. Now, this next drill is definitely going to be difficult for you guys, but I think it's one of the more fun ones, and it is specific for endurance, but it has a fun part where you get to project as well. And this one is called the project and pump. I have mentioned this drill recently. It is where you're going to take 15 minutes of projecting, and then you're going to do 15 minutes of climbing all of the routes 2 to 3 grades below yours. Now, since we're only climbing for 60 minutes, I've actually adjusted this drill. 10 minutes of projecting, 10 minutes doing all of the climbs you can 2 to 3 grades below you. You do that twice to really get the most out of it. You need to make sure that you're in those 10 minutes where you're just doing the climbing as many routes as you can 2 to 3 grades below your skill level. You're going to make sure that you are not taking breaks between routes. This makes a grade that's typically super easy for you exhausting. When you are pushing yourself, when you're still exhausted, when you are too tired to move forward, but you move forward anyway, that's when this drill builds your endurance. Now, the fun side of this one is you're projecting, and you do get to take breaks while you're projecting. Say you do a really hard move or something and you need a 2-minute break, take a 2-minute break, take a 5-minute break. You have 10 minutes to work on this project. What you need to do immediately afterwards so you can recover fast, so you can do this again the next day if you need to. And that is a cool down. And we don't talk about this as often, but it's definitely important. And it's something that I struggle to do myself, but it is essential, and you'll see every pro climber doing it as well. That is stretching at the end of your session. There has been plenty of research to suggest that stretching decreases sore muscles. It's also known to help with flexibility, which is essential for climbing. It's also known for increased blood flow, local blood flow. So for example, while you're stretching your forearms and your shoulders, you're gonna get additional blood flow there, which will help you recover faster. Now, I promised that I was going to go through some very important tips to make sure that you're getting the most out of your climbing session. And so let's start with that now. These first 2 tips are going to be about making it so you can get the most out of your session. And then the third tip, really need to listen to this third tip, because this is where the professionals are separated from amateurs. This is where people who train really hard, they are able to do this one thing, and it helps them get gains so much faster and see benefits from their training so much easier than it is for everybody else that doesn't do this one thing. So definitely need to do this. The first thing that I want to point out is do your hand care before you get to the gym. There have been quite a few times where I was stupid enough to get to the gym with calluses that were super raised. And because I knew I couldn't afford a flapper, I took the time to sand it down. I even taped it. And you know what that did? It took a couple of minutes away from my climbing session, which when you only have 60 minutes, every minute counts. So definitely make sure that you're taking care of that beforehand. Additionally, when you are doing this, bring water with you. Yes, water takes up time, but water is also going to help you climb better. If you are hydrated, your body will be able to recover faster. It's also going to be able to bring nutrients to your muscles as it needs to much easier. So stay hydrated. Now, the next tip, this one is really going to help you with your gains. This is something that professional climbers do. This is something that people who are seriously training, they pay attention and they record what they're doing while they're climbing and how well they did. This is not only going to show you what you're doing throughout the session, but you can also look back at this and see weaknesses so that you can train those weaknesses and get better at it. This is something that I've recently started doing, and I really enjoy being able to look back at that and go, wow, because I saw this weakness, I started training on this weakness, and now I'm seeing that I'm doing much better on this weakness. It's no longer a weakness, it's just slightly weaker than my other strength. So it's definitely something that's going to help you get big gains a lot faster, is that awareness. And writing things down is probably the easiest way to get that awareness. As you can see, a lot of these climbing sessions are based on drills, so I'd love to hear what your favorite drill is. Even if I haven't mentioned it on my channel, please share it in the comments below. I know everyone else who's watching this video would be interested in as well. So now you know how to maximize those 60 minutes. If you're wondering what type of drills to do while you're climbing, definitely check out these drills. They're all about footwork. Anyone at any grade level can do these drills and benefit from them. I also did this video here, which is all about strength building while on the wall. That way you're not wasting your time with weights when you could be working on your strength at the same time as getting more climbing in. So definitely check out that video.